On the opening day of the Premier League, Arsenal lost 3-0 to Manchester City in a one-sided league affair. However, what was worst for Arsenal was the fact that they lost 2 players due to injury, one being GRANIT XHAKA, the former club captain, and also new signing Pablo Mari. I'm going to make a separate video on Pablo Mari's injury, however this first one will be on GRANIT XHAKA. I don't think it's a coincidence that 2 Arsenal players got injured in the first half. Last week I made a video with a physiotherapist who works at a football club, and we both came to the agreement that if you take into consideration, a lack of match fitness with players and the fact that they haven't been playing for, a couple months now, player injury is highly likely, especially when you consider the kind of ligament sprains that can happen. Before we start, if you don't know me already, my name is Matthew Faisa and I'm a medical student from London interested in sports medicine. If you like this video, make sure to share it with your friends and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any videos in the future and can continue to kind of support and join our sports medicine community here. As Xhaka chases the ball, he missteps, which causes the initial ankle sprain, and then proceeds to tumble into Guendouzi. A lot of news articles and reporters have claimed that the collision is what caused the injury. However, if we look at the footage, I believe he actually kind of missteps before, and that causes the ankle to kind of get out of its normal plane and actually lead to a sprain on the ligaments. If we look at his foot, we can see that it turns down and inwards as he missteps, causing his ankle to roll outwards. This typically is the result of an inversion sprain, which is the most common type of ligament sprain to the ankle. If we break this injury down mechanically, the way it works is that as the foot turns inwards and the ankle rolls outwards, it causes excessive tension on the lateral ligaments that form on the outer part of the ankle. If we look at this 3D model, we can see the lateral ligaments are a set of 3 ligaments running from the lateral malleolus to the fibula to the talus and the calcaneus. Their job is to resist inversion of the ankle joint, which means keeping the joint from rolling outwards and subsequently your foot turning inwards. This knowledge, combined with the video footage, demonstrates why these set of ligaments in the ankle were likely sprained in Xhaka's injury. Alternatively, the other type of ankle sprain that is common is an eversion sprain. So as it says in the name, it's the opposite of an inversion sprain. So the eversion sprain with an E means that the foot turns outwards and the ankle joint rolls inwards. And what that does is, instead of putting tension on the outside of the ankle joint, it puts it on the inner. So on the inside of the foot, that's where the tension and the ligament sprain will occur for an eversion type injury. Also to note, with sprains, the damage dealt and the recovery times really depend on the type of injury it is. So with sprains, there's a kind of a severity scale from grade 1 to grade 3, grade 3 being the worst, and kind of the injury that takes a lot more treatment and recovery time. So a grade 1 sprain is when there's slight stretching and maybe a little bit of tears, altering the structural integrity of the lateral ligaments. These typically take 1 to 3 weeks to recover, and anyone can do it pretty much, even in the general population. All they have to do is incorporate RICE, which is rest, ice, compress and elevate, and as I said previously, within 1 to 3 weeks you should be fine. Alternatively, a grade 2 sprain is a lot worse. If we compare it to a grade 1 sprain, a grade 1 sprain is when there's excessive stretching causing perhaps little holes in the ligament. However, the structural integrity is a little bit altered but not completely damaged. With a grade 2 sprain, there's a lateral cut in the ligament. So if you think of like a paper, it's been sliced on the side, however that slice doesn't go all the way through, so it's still kind of held intact. This takes a lot more kind of meticulous treatment and recovery times. However, this compared to a grade 3 is obviously a lot better. A grade 3 is when there's a complete rupture, a complete kind of tear. So that paper now is being completely torn from one side to the other. So now you have 2 pieces of the ligament left. Grade 2 sprains take around 3 to 6 weeks to treat and recover. However, a grade 3 sprain can take around 3 months plus. The way doctors or medical professionals involved in football or in other hospitals may kind of assess whether you have an ankle injury or whether GRANIT XHAKA has a certain type of ankle injury, whether it be an inversion or eversion sprain. The way they would use that is they would use machines such as MRI machines and, on the first hand, ultrasound machines. Both of these allow the doctor or medical professional to kind of assess the integrity of the joint and also the kind of structural capacity of the ligaments. Based upon Arteta's comments and also the fact that Xhaka could not kind of bear his weight on his ankle and had to be stretched off the pitch, I doubt he had a grade 1, it's possible, but I think he had a grade 2 sprain. And this is based upon the fact that, you know, he couldn't bear weight, so he couldn't walk off the pitch by himself. And we can assume that he'd be in a lot of pain with a lot of swelling, bruising, and potentially a lot of tenderness on that ankle joint. From the hours of sports I've watched, you know, the hours of placement that I've been to and seen patients with these types of injuries, as well as me having it myself, you know, grade 1 sprains, on my experience, don't typically lead to a lot of bruising and not being able to weight bear. When I've had my sprains, when I know they're grade 1, I've typically been able to walk home with no issue. And because of that, you know, I would lean towards the fact that, you know, Xhaka had a grade 2 sprain. Without the official scans, you know, us as fans, we can only discuss what we think the injury Xhaka sustained was. So let me know in the comments down below what grade you think Xhaka's injury is, and also kind of what treatment times would you expect for him to return to football. Also add any comments with any updates of Xhaka's injury. I'm sure they'll be released over the upcoming days and weeks, and I'll try and pin them so that everyone can see it and everyone has the most up-to-date information. In the same game, Pablo Mari also got injured. He had an injury which I'm not 100% sure about. You know, it could be an Achilles tendon injury or it could be a hamstring injury, but in the next video we're going to discuss what we likely think it's going to be. And also comment down below what other athletes you would like me to cover, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, guys.
Was melanin, coarse hair, coarse my skin, soy sauce, I'm boisterous. I bun with your babes and feed the oysters. Oysters, man, think that they're hot like raw mustard. More time is sweeter than sponge cakes and birds custard. Fix your posture. I must have been 16, another cute buster. In co-op there had taught me about the custer. Wasting time instead of grinding harder than you can, you muster. Bye bye the rules of stacking notes and making bands of sorts of. I think there's some